Good evening, my fellow Americans. Tonight I speak to you about an issue of mass importance to all of us. The idea of communism spread by the Soviet Union has been brought into our era of life. We have made a decision to make sure communism shall not be spread to more areas of the world. We have adopted the policy of containment to protect ourselves and our allies. Containment shall help block communism and turn it away from our borders, and shall allow us to keep our freedoms. We have devised plans to keep it away and keep the country safe. Communism has crossed our way of life and led to a mass amount of destruction, and the only way to stop it is through the policy of containment. To elaborate, communism completely crosses our idea of freedom and individuality. The Soviet Union has adopted this terrible way of life, and this way is beginning to expand. Communism has allowed Stalin to kill 10 million of his own people and more from other countries. In communism, the government controls everything you own, such as your house, yard, and goods. The Soviet Union believes our way of life, capitalism, will not last and communism will win the war, when in reality it is he who shall lose. Communism has already struck much of Asia and Eastern Europe, such as Mongolia, China, North Vietnam, Poland, East Germany, North Korea, and even our nearby Cuba. From this, we have chosen that the godless abomination shall be wiped out from the face of the planet to preserve our way of life. It is evident that the government is doing everything in its power to contain the Soviet Union and its communist policy. Prior to this day, we have already issued the Truman Doctrine in an attempt to support, protect, and save the free people in Greece and Turkey who are threatened by this contagious communism. Following this, the United States issued the Marshall Plan, a policy that granted $12 billion to rebuild European non-communist countries in hopes of reassembling the economy and sustaining resources so that communist ideas would not be so attractive. In a telegram sent from George Kennan, American Foreign Service officer, he states, "In these circumstances, it is clear that the main element of any United States policy must be that of a long-term, patient, but vigilant containment of Russian expansive tendencies. Through the Truman Doctrine and Marshall Plan, the United States will contain this communist atrocity." In our best efforts, the United States have successfully conquered communism in countries across the world and vanquished the expansion of this heinous crime. To discuss our actions regarding Berlin, I welcome former President Harry Truman to the scene.
On June 27, 1948, Joseph Stalin and the Union Soviet Socialist Republic blockaded all shipments entering West Berlin. Under my power and command, America and our allies instituted an airlift plan which allowed us to fly in enough supplies to support over 2 million people for a year. Not long after, the blockade was lifted and the country beamed with our defeat over the godless communists of Russia. It is incontrovertible that communism is an outrageous threat to peace in our world, and is indisputable that it is our country's duty to contain the abomination and save the people of not only our country, but those in Europe and Asia from the unnecessary violence and communism. Please welcome Vice President Lyndon Johnson.
A final way of communism that has been spread is close to our home, in nearby Cuba, where the Soviets were spotted setting up missile launch sites. Our planes have spotted them and reported this issue to President John F. Kennedy, who saw 3 missile launch sites being built. The range of these missiles have targeted much of North America, plus the borders beyond. They are capable of hitting Houston, New York, and even Washington, D.C. We have ordered a containment around the area of Cuba from the Soviets bringing more supplies and nuclear missiles to the launch sites. We will continue to blockade Cuba from Soviet ships into Cuba to help stop the spread of communism. In light of the rising communist government that Stalin and his Soviet Union have adopted, it has become necessary for us and our fellow people to stop this growing evil before it gets too far. The containment policy we have employed has already achieved the restriction of it and its expansion in several countries, as I stated before. Already our fight is successful. Communism is not growing in any foreign country currently, but we must not let our guard down. For we are the defenders of liberty and freedom, as are our allies, and we will fight communism and any evil of the like as long as we shall stand on American soil. Our unity and belief in freedom are what make us strong, and by all means we should use that strength to combat the oppressing forces in Asia, as our glorious forefathers did nearly 2 centuries ago. May God bless our fight against communism, and God bless the United States of America.